All right, everybody, good afternoon. Happy Tuesday. It's time for the rooting guide post-mortem where we just kind of go over the previous week's results and how they may have affected or, in some cases, not really affected the Seattle Seahawks' chances. Just a little follow-up to the rooting guide that gets posted here every week. So let's go through it here. So I am recording this the night before. So as you can see, the Monday night game is at the top of this list. So we'll just go ahead and talk about that first, even though it's the most recent game that happened. This happened last night. Um, I kind of had mixed thoughts on this one, admittedly, but I did end up coming down on the side of we wanted Atlanta to steal one here and knock both teams to 1-1. Now both teams are 1-1. You do run the risk of getting a high traffic wild card race, I think, when you have a bunch of teams in the NFC that are decent. But you look at Atlanta, and even last night, not that he played a bad game. In fact, he played a pretty good game, but Kirk Cousins still doesn't really look right, and it's hard to believe that Falcons team is going to go to where we want it or expect them to go, I should say. We don't necessarily want them to. If Kirk Cousins can't plant his back foot. So I think it was preferable that the Falcons win this game. The Eagles are going to be a threat this year. Maybe not a big threat, but some kind of a threat. And I think the Falcons will get taken care of down the line because they, for the moment, do not have the quarterback. But mixed thoughts there for sure. Bills, Dolphins. I kind of wanted the Dolphins to win, but that was only because we were about to play Miami. I didn't want them to be 1-1 going into our game, but that doesn't really matter now. Miami's got so many issues beyond just being 1-1 that it's not even a consideration anymore. So that game's a big whatever now. Getting to the Sunday games now. Getting to the games a couple days ago. Saints Cowboys was big. That was awesome. That was incredible. Not only because it pushes the Cowboys to 1-1, and by the way, they're staring right down the barrel of 1-2 because they've got an 0-2 Ravens team coming up in a week here. But they exposed some real problems with that Cowboys team. They can't really score. Like, their offense is not good. And now you got to wonder about that defense, right? They got run off the field the exact same way the Carolina Panthers did. So, to me, I I don't know what to make in that NFC East anymore. I don't know what to think about that division. And honestly, the conference, you got to say right now, it's not looking all that intimidating. Now, the Saints are a different story. Maybe I missed on them. Maybe they're actually really good, but I need to see a little bit more. That's actually a really interesting point of conversation that we need to have because I had people in my chat who predicted that the Saints would be a bottom 3 team this year, that they would be one of the worst teams. And I actually thought that was relatively credible. I thought they were just the team that was treading water forever, and this might be the year where it finally gives out. So far, it's been the year where things finally went the way they thought they would go. So the Saints, maybe that's something we have to concern ourselves with, but I need to see a little bit more before I say anything too committing there. But nevertheless, I think this is a good result ultimately. Buccaneers Lions, another good result. It was a good week overall, guys. It really was. I mean, I know Tampa Bay looks good. I know Tampa Bay is probably going to be a threat this year, but the Lions are the team that is a legitimate threat to like get the number 1 seed and be a 13-14 win team, I think. I don't think Tampa Bay's there yet. So them getting knocked down with the L is probably good. I will admit that there is a scenario where the Seahawks end up more in the, upper middle and they don't want too many other teams in that upper middle with them. But for the moment, we may as well shoot for the stars. We may as well say, you know what, this Seahawks team could win 12 or more games this year. And if they do, we want there to be minimal competition at the very top of the conference. So, yeah, I would say that this is preferable, although we're going to need to see some more football before we say that for sure this year. Probably the most disappointing and surprising, excuse me, result of the week would be Green Bay still alive. Green Bay took care of business against the Colts. Very weird game. Green Bay ran the ball for like 8 million yards. It was a very Very weird result. You would think that when you're playing a quarterback who doesn't know how to throw the ball, you'd be able to cook something up defensively. But no, and this is a cautionary tale for the Seahawks this week. Because when you're playing not just a backup quarterback, but a terrible backup quarterback, you got to be ready for the other team to throw some weird stuff at you. And the Packers threw some weird stuff at the Colts, and they weren't ready for it, and they blow a game. This is a lesson for the Seahawks this week. They're going to throw weird stuff at you this week with Skylar Thompson and Snoop Huntley out there. So, Packers remain on life support, but they are alive, and I think they still play the Rams, so that's just going to be like this brutal battle of attrition. Jets, Titans, I don't think this game means all that much. I did say I wanted the Jets to win just for strength of schedule because we do play the Jets. So I guess we got what we wanted here, but it's a very minor consideration. But I'll take the good news where I can get it. And like I said, there was mostly good news this week. Particularly this one right here, the 49ers Vikings. This was a big one. This was a very unexpected one. The Minnesota Vikings kind of controlled the Niners the whole game, it felt like. Like the Vikings were in control. This wasn't like some last second touchdown. This wasn't some Hail Mary. No, the Vikings controlled this game for the most part and looked like the better team. And you can't say anything about Christian McCaffrey because Jordan Mason is out there doing work and putting in good numbers and doing his job. But you've got a Niners team that seems to have some issues on defense that are a little bit surprising. And now they got the Debo issue. But Debo was in there until the very end of that game, so I don't think you can say anything about that for this game either. So, great result, obviously, here. Puts us in first place. We got to talk about the Vikings, though. Are the Vikings good? Like, this is two really good results. I know it's the Giants, but they blew out the Giants. They beat the Giants by more than 3 touchdowns. They beat the Giants badly, and now they're winning a game decisively against the Niners. Maybe there's something going on there. Hard for me to ever believe that a Sam Darnold quarterbacked team is legitimate, but they're certainly not number 1 overall pick players, which I thought they were going to be going into the season. So they're doing something right. Giants Commanders, again, this was just kind of a question of like, who do you think is ultimately going to be worse this year? And whoever you think is worse, you should probably pull for that team, but both teams are bad. And I think this game kind of proved it. I don't think there's much else to say about this. I think the Giants are going to be worse, so I kind of wanted them to win. But realistically, the Giants did look like the better team in this matchup. So it depends on your perspective, but it's certainly not worth getting stressed out about. I mean, we played the Giants as well this year, by the way, so there was a little strength of schedule argument, but realistically, the Giants are not going to help us with that strength of schedule stuff this year. They're just going to lose a lot. Chargers, Panthers. Yeah, technically we wanted the Chargers to win, so I'm happy to take the good result, but it don't matter. It don't matter. Whether Carolina wins a fluke game or not, they're still one of the worst teams in the league, and you can see where things are going there. It's going in a very bad direction. It's a very sad, depressing team, and it's a team that seems completely devoid of any kind of hope. So them winning one fluky game would obviously have not really meant anything, but technically speaking, yeah, you're going to root for the AFC over the NFC. Browns, Jaguars, there was really nothing here that I could come up with, so this one, I'm not even going to pretend that this one mattered. Same for Raiders, Ravens. I don't think there's any objective element to that game where the result mattered to us. It kind of is good just because of next week. Because now you're going to have a desperate Ravens team playing the Cowboys. And I think that's good, right? Because if the Ravens lose next week, their season's kind of in the toilet. They can kind of forget about it at that point, 0-3. They'd probably just have to kind of write them off for the rest of the year, close to it. So the fact that they're now desperate going into that game is probably a good thing. So I'm for that. Rams, Cardinals, I think that this is what we wanted, but I'm not sure. This is tough now, right? The Rams are so beat up, they're probably done anyway. Like, the Rams really might start 0-5 or 0-6 at this rate because of all these players they're losing. So, you look at a team like the Cardinals that has played really well to start the season, you got to start wondering a little bit, what if this is the team that we have to compete with for the division? And I mean, maybe we wanted the Cardinals to win without looking that good, but you get what you get. They win by 31 points. They dominate the Rams. And it's good, but in a few weeks we might look back at this and be like, no, no, that actually wasn't good. This Cardinals team is for real. Steelers, Broncos. We kind of wanted the Broncos to win just because of the strength of schedule, but that's another team that's not going to help our strength of schedule this year. The Broncos are bad and are going to lose a lot of games. So it is what it is. The Broncos are not really going to help that argument very much. And the game didn't really mean anything for the Seahawks otherwise. So whatever. Bengals, Chiefs. There's really nothing to say there. That's a whatever game. No real compelling arguments one way or the other. And Bears, Texans went our way as well. Bears got knocked down to 1-1. They almost stole another one, though. Came very close. And that would have been annoying to deal with. Because I'm telling you people, that Bears defense is good. They got good skill position players on offense. All they need is an offensive line and the quarterback to play well with that offensive line, picking it up. And that's a playoff team. So keep an eye out for them. And don't discount the value of them taking an early season L like that. All right. That's it for the week. Great results, man. I'm really happy with most of this. The Niners losing was obviously the big one, but don't sleep on like the Cowboys and Lions and even the Eagles losing. All right, I'll see you guys later. Should be at least one more video later today. Go Hawks. See you guys on Twitch later tonight. And yeah, life's pretty good right now, guys.